randomly, the thing that I've been booting up for the past like 2 or 3 weeks, which I brought up briefly, I think, on maybe 2 episodes ago, is Team Fortress 2. Like, I've been consistently playing Team Fortress 2, this like 15-year-old game.
Hard to imagine people are still playing it, but
There
they
are.
are.
People are still playing it. Here's the thing though, is like Team Fortress 2 is still like really good. I had thought, like, I had this thought in my head where you know, it's like we've had Overwatch for so long that you tend to think like, why would I play this when Overwatch exists? Because it's the new, the newer version,
Yeah.
right? But as someone who's still sort of on their Blizzard thing, um, I just don't want to play over. Even though Overwatch 2, the beta, I think comes out like today or tomorrow. Um, I'm like still kind of waiting for Bobby to be gone before I jump back into that. So I'm like, what's the next closest thing I can get? Well, it's Team Fortress 2. But I dipped back in
Hmm.
there and I remembered why I had been so obsessed with it in college for like 2 or 3 years, because it's just really good, and it has this like flavor that Valve only made like this one time. Like maybe the
Hmm.
closest they ever got to doing this again was Portal, you know. But even Portal, which is based in the Half-Life universe, has sort of, I don't know how to describe it. Like it has more of a groundedness, even though it is still technically like funny and not taking itself too seriously.
There's
TF2
not
is
any
just
aliens or anything like that. It's
not
just
no.
AI. Yeah.
TF2 is just like super silly and dumb and just trying to be like very tongue in cheek all the time. And it has this aesthetic that no other Valve game has. It has this like vibe that no other Valve game has. The economy, which I thought must have been tanked to at this point, is still fairly okay. It gets regular cosmetic updates and stuff still. It has some stuff going on. So I've been playing it a bit and just kind of dipping back into it. But along with the things that are really good about TF2 that I think still survive to this day and still feel really good and it's fun to play, there are some interesting things that I've noticed that are kind of bad and actually weirdly make me a little more worried about the Steam Deck, but I'll get there. And I think some of that is the tendency that Valve seems to have to just kind of like abandon stuff that they make. And here's an example. So in Team Fortress 2 in 2020, you might remember this news story, but there was a news story about a bunch of bots basically making free to play accounts and then swarming servers, and just like putting tons of like transphobic stuff in chat. Like they would just swarm chat with all this stuff. So Valve had taken measures to like mitigate that. They said like, oh, free to play players can't speak in the in-game chat. They have to have spent money first to be like able to do that. And it's like, okay, that did that, and then they did something else to try and mitigate like bots mass joining games, which worked for a while, and this was back in 2020. But back in, I think, late 2020, early 2021, the problem cropped up again, not with like transphobia, but with basically these bots that cheat. Like they just, the minute they see you, you're dead. Like they just headshot you and you're gone. So the it's apparently been an issue since then. It's not been fixed. It's 2022. Like we're a fourth into, or a third into 2022, and this problem has been happening since 2020, and it's still a problem. Like if you try to play on weekdays, if you're not playing on a community server, which are servers just run by players, like trying to get a full game is almost impossible because it's all bots that either like just kill you immediately, and then if you try to vote kick them, like they all gang up on you and vote kick you instead. Like, so the official casual servers are like almost impossible to play on if you're not playing, uh, like Friday nights or the weekend or something, like peak hours. If you're trying to play like in the middle of the day or on a weekday or something, it is like impossible. You basically
So what's the point of that?
so what's the point of the bots playing, or what's the point of
Yeah.
so because TF2 drops items that can be eventually worth money, people make bots to like try and
They're farming it, yeah.
farm items. But I think the real issue though is that like it just means that like if you want to play on those servers, like on Valve's official servers, it's kind of difficult. Like on certain days, like you basically have to play competitive, or you have to go on to a community server, which will still give you items because every account has like a cooldown. You can only get so many items per week, and then it resets. So you can go play on community servers, and that's fine, but there are things you get for playing on Valve servers that you don't get for playing on community servers. And an example is there's these like contract missions that will net you like paint schemes for your guns or hats and other things, and you can't do those missions on community servers. They're not tracked. So you can only do them on Valve servers, which means basically that if you want to do them, you either have to like just really fight to try and get in a server that doesn't have bots, either casually or competitively, or you just have to say, guess I won't do this, right? And it's so bad that I saw a Reddit post that said something like day 956 with no fix to bots or something like that, which I think tracks because this has been going on since 2020. And it's really unfortunate, but the good thing is that if you just play on community servers, if you don't care about any of that, like you just want to play the game, like you can do that and avoid the bots really easily. The main problem is though that like you're locking yourself out of a fair amount of stuff that is what I think enjoyable, because I think getting items is one of the things that makes the game like really unique and fun. But it's hard to really like it's hard to do that when you can only do community servers. Like you will get some items, but you're not going to get like all the stuff. Like when you buy passes to do stuff, you're not going to get those. So it makes it a little harder to like enjoy the experience. And it's just really unfortunate that like Valve seems to have kind of just abandoned this game. And I get it, like this game's really old. So like I'm not expecting new content or anything, but like at the same time it should run correctly and not be sort of a hellscape for bots to run rampant.